Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather and today I'm standing in my craft room. I got this last weekend at a garage sale for about $3. I bought a couple things at $5 for the 2 items, so I told my husband the juice jug was $2 and this was about $3. So it's a nice little lantern. It needs a little bit of work on the handle. It keeps popping off every time I touch it. I think it just needs the little bolt things, I guess, nuts, that's what it's called, a little nut or a little washer or something. So I'm gonna get some glue. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue in here, but I'm gonna go outside and spray paint this black. I'm not gonna show myself spray painting, but I've got this. I also have this other dish. I've had this one for quite a few years and I really do love it. It's this nice big palm leaf. I got this at a secondhand store under $5 a couple of years ago. I probably paid $3, $4 for it. On the back it says it's originally from Michael's for almost $30. It says $26.99, so nearly $30 for Michael's. I do like it. I was gonna paint it the gold or the rose. I was actually going to spray paint it rose gold to go with some other decor, but I just don't have the rose gold paint. I was at Walmart yesterday and I was looking at the price of paint and it's just not worth $23 right now for one thing of spray paint. So I'm just going to spray paint it black. The back was already black, so but I'm just going to give it a good coat of black. I do like the detail on it. It's hard to tell, but it's got the aged look. So it's got some of the green in there and different shades of browns and blacks and of course the gold. But I think for now, I think I'm just going to paint it black because I have my decorative balls that I usually have sitting in here and they look like this. And so I have 5 of them. They're quite large. And they do have a lot of the gold in it. So I thought, well, if I paint it black, it will just look really nice on my coffee table. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go outside quickly and give the lantern and this planter tray, whatever you want to, it's not a planter, this metal tray, a good spray paint of black, and then I will be right back. Okay, welcome back. I'm now back in my craft room. So now here is the lantern. Let's see. I did put a little bit of glue. It just still does not want to stay. I'm just going to put a little more hot glue in there. I'll get my husband to help me find a little screw or a little nut or washer or something just to help hold that in. I have glued it. It's still, every time I touch the handle, it still wants to pop out. Oh, see, now this side wants to pop out too. So maybe just a little hot glue on here too. So I don't know which one was the one that was always giving me trouble because now it's been painted. And I know the one that had the rust on the screw was the one that was always popping out. Now I've painted it, so now I don't see the rust, but it looks so much better and it's very tall. It's taller than I really thought it was. I don't know if that's going to help. The glue just went right through the hole and dripped right down. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it. Set that down on the floor for a minute just so it's out of my way. And then this is the piece of floral foam that had come with it. And my idea was I was not going to use the floral foam. Actually, I guess I'll bring it back up for one more second. Because I was going to make it and I was going to use my pillar candles. Well, I've got this one here, which you can see the height of this candle is not going to fit. I mean, I put it in here. I mean, it will work for my purpose, but it's just too tall and I like to be able to see the wick of the candle so people know that it's, you know, like, looks like it can be actually used. And then, you know, I can't seem to find my pillar candles. Then I have this one. But it's the Christmas one, so it's got the tree here. But this is the only pillar candle I could find at the moment. I don't know where my other pillar candles are. Everything is kind of packed at the moment. But you can see that when I put it in here, it's just too short. So this, so I put this in here like that. And I thought that looked okay, but I want something to make the candle look a little bit better. So I decided to flip this around. And then you see the candle looks like it's sitting there, and it's kind of like a tiered level. I think I like that so much better. But I don't want to see the styrofoam. I don't know if I have enough floral picks at the moment to really hide all of this ugly foam. So I've decided, I was looking to see what I had, and I found a chunk of my burlap fabric. This I got at Value Village for $1.99. I don't remember how many years ago. So I'm going to use this, and it says it's 100% jute, and it is 18 by 24 inches. So it's going to be a pretty good size piece of fabric for what I need it for. So just decided, I think this will be just enough that I can just cover this. Just want to have it just enough of the burlap so I can cover most of this. That will cover there. So I don't want to use all my burlap fabric on this one. I just want to see. I'm just going to cut this here. And these are not good scissors. I can't find my scissors. I'm using these little ones that were just in the kitchen. I haven't cleaned out that top kitchen drawer yet, so I'm glad I haven't gotten there yet, or else there wouldn't be any scissors. So I'm just going to snip this off. I'm just going to loosely wrap this. I don't need to wrap it completely. I just want to loosely wrap it like that. I'm going to flip it this way. I did buy floral pins, and I don't know where they are. So I'm going to grab, I do have straight pins somewhere, so maybe I'm just going to grab my straight pins and just put this together with straight pins like that. So I don't want to glue this, I just want it to look a little bit neater. I can still push my picks through, I can still hot glue my picks on here, and I'm not wasting my burlap fabric on this little project. I can save the burlap piece and use it for another project. Anytime I can take ribbon or fabric and be able just to wrap something quickly, and then I can still reuse the ribbon or fabric, I love to do that. So I'm just gonna do this. Trying to make sure it's not gonna interfere with this too much. So it should. And then because now the burlap is sitting there, it's holding this up even higher, and now it's raised up even higher. That is perfect. You can still see the top of the candle, but you can tell that it can actually be used. So I'm just gonna go and get the burlap wrapped around here. I don't have many minutes left on my thing to film because it's flashing at me, so I'll be back in a few moments as soon as I get this all wrapped in the burlap. Okay, I've got that wrapped in the burlap. Now I know I said push pins, but what I ended up using was just some of the straight pins for sewing. That's what I had. I was looking for my tacks or something, but these were close, so this is what I used. So I just wrapped it, loosely wrapped it, just because I didn't really like that tiered effect. I mean, it looked okay, but I kind of like where it's just, it's more rounded. It looks like it's sitting on a nice bigger something, like almost like a bale of hay. So now I'm just going to bring this to make sure that you can't see any of the little pins, and some of them, there's a lot on here because this is just, the burlap is just so thick, and then it's just doesn't want to stay in the styrofoam. It just kind of wants to get pushed out. I'm just going to make sure I can get this in here. Put some of these pins in a little bit more. This, like I said, I'll make sure that, you know, I tried to use the push pins kind of close to the bottom. I thought I had it where they'd be not seen as much. I guess I went the wrong way. But when I set the candle here, I like that. It's starting to look really good. I do know this is that Christmas candle, but I'm going to put something, I'm going to wrap a ribbon around the candle, and that will help hide the Christmas. It was working there, see? We'll just kind of hide the Christmas church and stuff, but it's, you know, it's battery operated, so when it's lit up it looks like that. I know it's the reflection of the church is going to make the candle look kind of funny, but I can't help that. This is the only candle I can find right now. I might change it out if I'm able to find a larger candle. But this will be the front. So then I'll have the pins on the sides. I think that will look so much better. And then I can have that there. Yes. Put the pins to the side. Okay, now I just have to decide how I want to decorate this. I'm just going to set that here. I'm just going to set this down here. And I bought these different picks and things that I was able to find. So this one here is the cotton flower picks. You get 12 little cotton flowers, and they were $1.50 at Dollarama. I bought 3 packs of them. Then I have this other one. It's the Thanksgiving set. It was $1.50, and you get some leaves, some mushrooms, acorns, berries, just various little things in each one of these. This one's got an apple and some other little berry picks. So they were just different ones I picked up. I didn't realize that they were different, but just gives me a variety. And these were $1.50 a pack. And then I also had this little pack of these apples I got from a thrift store for $1. They are originally from Dollarama, so I might add these because I do have the red apple in here, and they're about the same size. I don't know, I just haven't quite decided, you know, for this candle what I want to use around it. Just dropping lots of things. I also have these little picks here that I like. And I like the color of the pumpkin. They're more of like a purplish, so they really match the color of the leaves. In fact, I thought these were new, and I'm just looking across my room. I've got my wreath, and I do actually see some of these little purple pumpkins sticking out on my wreath. So I guess they must have come out last year or the year before, and I don't remember seeing them. It must have been a couple of years ago. And I must have not been looking for these type of picks, so I didn't even notice. Okay. And I have these little Harvest mini crackers that I got from a Dollar Tree as well. I think they were $1.50. I don't remember if I bought these. No, I think I bought these last year because they were downstairs. So I think I bought these last year. So they must have been $1.25. If they have them this year, they're going to be $1.50. Now, I like these crackers not to use them. Like, you know, you can, you know, decorate your table and then everybody gets to open them and say the funny joke. But I like to decorate with them because they are just so cute. I like to buy them one for every season. In fact, I know one year I had bought a bunch of these boxes of these different ones, and I had this little wooden basket, and that's all I did was I just stuffed these in the little wooden basket for every season. So I had the Thanksgiving, I had Halloween, I had Christmas, I had Easter, New Year's, just different things like that. So all I would do is just every year just take those crackers out and put these ones in its place. So I do want to kind of incorporate these. Now, I'm just deciding, I really like the ones with the blue pumpkins. And so I've got different ribbons here, and I bought these ribbons recently from Dollarama, and they were $2 a roll. I think I'll make the ribbon or the bow for this one out of this one with the blue pumpkins. So I definitely am going to use those ones. sometimes when you're just, bringing all the craft stuff out and you're seeing what you have, what you like. So this one's got the white pumpkins and some leaves. This one's got the mushrooms. And this one's got sunflowers and acorns. And they're kind of like looks like a burlap type ribbon, which I think because I've made a burlap base for the candle, the burlap ribbon is what I'm going to go for. I think because I'm probably going to go more towards the blue, I'm probably not going to use the apples in this project. I do like them, but I think the red and the green might just kind of clash a little bit with the blue and the brown. So I want to stick more neutral colors. So I'll probably save the apples for another project later on. I also have this organza or mesh fabric rolls. These were from Dollarama for $1.50 a roll. I don't know if I'm going to use these in this project, but I thought because it is a lantern that doesn't have the glass, that depending on how these look, I might make it look like it's got glass in there, like not completely, but just on maybe the back side or something, just to give some more reflection of something in the background. And I also have these thankful, harvest, and welcome metal words, which I think these are actually the right size that I could actually put one on here somewhere at the bottom or maybe at the top, but I'd have to paint these, so I'd have to decide if I want to use these words or not for this one. And I also have this little eucalyptus pick that I got from a local dollar store or a local thrift store for $2. So like I said, I recently got rid of all my eucalyptus because they were so old and falling apart. But I love the look and smell of the eucalyptus, and I think this would be the perfect color. I might go with this versus some of these more plasticky ones, just because this will be outside to look more natural and rustic. So I'll probably use the eucalyptus and the acorns. And then, like I said, the little crackers. I think that would look really good. I also do have, I've got some of these lights. I don't know where my other ones are. I did grab one just to remind myself that I do have the little fairy lights that are battery operated from the dollar store. I do like these because then I can, because it's a very small little flame on this candle. And if I use some of these around it, it will give me more of a glow to make it look like the candle is brighter than it really is. And I think that's what I got for now. I'm just going to organize what's here, open up my packages, put everything to the side, and just figure out what I'm going to use. So I'm definitely not going to use these leaves, but I definitely love this little pumpkin. So I'm probably just going to take these little pumpkins off. I don't know if I'm going to use the little berries in this one. I'll see how they look, but I definitely want the little brownish colored pumpkins to be, what people notice. So I will be back when I've got all my stuff kind of set up and kind of more figured out how I'm going to put this together. Oops. Okay, so I've decided which things I'm going to use. This I'm just too bright right in my face. Okay, so I've decided which ones I'm going to use here. So I'm going to use one pack. So you get 12 picks of the little cotton flowers. In that little cracker pack, there were 3 with the blue and orange pumpkins. I'm going to use those 3. I'm going to use the ribbon that has the blue, orange, brown, and white pumpkins. My little candle. I'm going to use the eucalyptus. It's a brown color, so I think it's more of a fall neutral color. So I'm going to use the 2 little pumpkins, this little purplish color, and the little faux berries off those picks. I still haven't decided if I'm going to use this mesh or not, so I just left it out. And then in those other little bags of things, I'm going to use the acorns and the pine cones that came in those 3 bags. And every bag had a different amount of items. So I don't know how many items in each bag. I never really counted. I just took out which ones I like. I'm still not sure if I'm going to use one of these words or not. So I'm just going to set these aside because I will paint them because I don't want them this color. I want them more of a neutral color. So I might spray paint them with a hammered bronze or hammered brown spray paint later. I'll decide. I do want to use the little fairy lights, but I also have these ones that I bought either last year or the year before. I don't remember. These ones are the leaf, so LED leaf lights. So they've got the, look like little maple leaves. They're really nice when they light up. So I still might just go with this pack, but this one here I can always use just around the top of it. It kind of just gives, you know, haven't quite decided. And then for the candle, I was looking for my burlap ribbon, just because I would like to put something around this candle so it's not just so white. Also something to cover up this thing on the cutout on the back. Or I guess that would be the front, so making that the back, or it wouldn't really matter now if I put the burlap. So I know I have some burlap ribbon and it looks like this, but it's half this width and it's mostly thin with a little bit of white ribbon. I couldn't find mine. But then I saw this one, but see, this would work if I was using my taller pillar candle. This is actually bigger than this candle. So I might actually do that anyways, just for in the house. I might just, I decided to bring this up because I think I will like that. I'll take off the Easter napkin that's on this tall pillar candle and I'll just wrap it in some of this burlap ribbon for in the house. I'll do that another time. So I was looking, so I did find one little strand left of this burlap. Now this may not be, that would work so much better, but it's just so plain. And then I was looking and I found my little thing of white lace. This one's got the little flowers in the center, and I was testing other ones, but I just like the way that really looks. It really brings out all the little white flowers, all the little details on this white lace. So that is what I'm thinking I might do for this candle. Now I'm still gonna put this still isn't quite this wide to cover the back, and when I put it on, it's just gonna sink in the candle. So I do have some the thicker piece of burlap like I had used to cover this. I might just put a small piece on the back of this just to build this up. So when I put the ribbon, it's not gonna do something funny, but I'm gonna set that as the candle aside because I will be doing the candle in a moment. As I figure out how I want the candle to go, but I'll bring this back up. Like I said, I know I've got these little straight pins sticking out. I didn't want to glue this together. I just thought that I could get some ribbon on here to hide this. And that's what this ribbon was for too. So I was just wondering if I could use this burlap ribbon if I have enough to go around here and the candle, and I think I will. Around the bottom. That way I'm not wasting all of this bit of ribbon. Yeah, because this one here is like $2 a roll. I'd hate to have to go out and buy another roll of ribbon if I don't need to. I think I'm gonna put this ribbon actually around the outside of this versus the whole outside of the of the lantern, just so it's, I think I'd like that because then it looks a little bit neater, and then you can see the whole base of the lantern. I'm really gonna go find my better scissors too, because these are not the best scissors, but this is what I have right at this moment, and I think this is just enough. That's more than enough to go around the candle, so that is good. burlap. I'm just going to glue it so I have a nice finished edge here. I'm just going to glue this frayed one so I have a nice finished edge over here. I didn't really want to use a lot of glue on this, but I will just glue this burlap ribbon onto the other piece of burlap. A little bit of hot glue here and there is not going to be a big deal. I just trying to avoid gluing the burlap right to the styrofoam itself. Tuck the ribbon underneath in the lantern. Then it will just kind of help hide. It'll just kind of help hide those straight pins, and then it's kind of less work for me to have to do. You know, I'm trying to figure out, well, how do I position everything so it's covering those in case I run out of little picks and things, and I just kind of like, then I don't have to worry about the back or the sides. I can concentrate more on the front and figure out how I want this on my front step. I'm just going to grab the candle here and just show. So I'm really liking the way that this is looking. It's just such a big piece, and then so then there's just what the back looks like. The two pieces overlapped. I've got them, tried to get them closer to here where they'd be hidden more. So that's the back, so this is the front. So I'm going to concentrate more on the front. So I'm going to start with these cotton flower picks. Just going to put one there. I'm just going to put one in each of these four corners. Now it's not going to matter too much as to which side is which. I'm just going to put these flowers in. I'll be back. As I said, I don't have a lot of memory stories left right now on my camera, so I'll be back when I get these put in place. Okay, so I've got the cotton flowers on here. I've also put the four in the center so then I know kind of like how much room I need for the candle. So it's going to look the same on all directions. So now I'm just going to start to figure out how to placement everything else. Now, because there's going to be one spot, it's going to be the back. I have three of these, so I'm not going to put one on the back because the back is going to be, I'm just trying to figure out which side I want the front and which side I want the back. This will be the back because that is the seam of that other ribbon. So this is the back, so I'll have the back facing me. So since that's going to be the back, then I just need these little paper cracker things. They'll just be on each of the three sides. I only have two of these pumpkins, so they're going to be, I think I'll put them here. I think that will look good. And then I do have four little sprigs. Now this one did a little break, and I decided that I think I'm going to stick them so they will stick, you know, up the side of the lantern. So I kind of, just this one's a little shorter. I do like the way that that would look. Just having these on the sides. So maybe I'll do 2 and 2. Maybe I'll just have them on the front. I think that will look good. I was going to do one on each corner, and then I'm like, actually, you know, I think they look better in groups of 2, and then I'll just trim the branches down a little bit, and then they just be, this one's a shorter one, just because I don't want them where they're sticking like way up here. I want them to be down here. Okay, just set these aside for a second. And then I got these little acorns. Got 4, I think I only got 4 of them. I thought I had 5. Okay, I guess I got 4. And then I got all these little pine cones. So I don't want this to be overly, you know, like decorated. It's just going to be a nice fall piece sitting on my front step. I've already got my 2 little gnomes I have made. They're sitting out on my front step. I'm just going to glue the pumpkins in. So I don't want to glue a lot of things, but I just think the pumpkins are just going to fall. I mean, I could go and get some little toothpicks or whatever and turn them into picks, but I've got my glue gun here, so I'm just gonna glue a few things in place. I know this is not the best setup. It's hard for me to see. Might be hard for you guys to see. And I got my little berry picks. So I just really want to have it. I think I'm gonna have this lantern sitting kind of between my 2 gnomes or beside, so then I don't need to worry about all the sides, because I can always, like I said, I think I will do that. I think just to save myself some time, and just see what that looks like. I thought I had. I'm just curious if it will work. Let's see, I'll get this in the cabinet. And if I put this in here, behind, just put a piece of this in here, it kind of gives the idea that it's got it'll look like glass and have this reflectiveness like glass. So I think I'm going to actually do that. So that wide. I do have some other mesh. I do have some wider tulle and mesh and other. Puppy, don't touch my. She's walking around. She almost pulled the glue gun down. Okay, so I'm gonna see. I think because this is just almost wide enough, but it's like I said, if I were to go right in, you know, I've got like a good space here, and I don't really. And if I had to have the gap, I could do something, but I think I'm gonna see if I have thicker tulle or mesh, because I really like that idea, because it was just the more reflective, and then I won't have to do those 3 sides, and I can concentrate just decorating just the front. So I think I will go and find my other mesh, but I think before I do that, I'm just gonna keep decorating the candle. I'm just gonna put these in the front, and I really thought I had 5 little acorns here. I probably do. It probably just fell off the table. Okay, but that's okay. So I'm just going to stand up. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna start with this really big one first. This really big one here. This size. I'm just trying to. This one here. Just do a bunch of these on here. Just for a pile of pine cones. So I'll be back when I get the pine cones glued on. Okay, so my husband was home. I just got back from taking him to work and I forgot what I was doing and I just started gluing this stuff on. So I've got the pile of pine cones, the little pumpkins, a few little acorns. I do have more little acorns in another pack I will look for because I do think I need a few more acorns. And then I also end up just gluing the little these little foam berries on here. And then I decided to move the cotton flowers away from the back and bring them more to the center. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna bring them so then I will have more in the front and less. Actually, I'm not gonna have anything really at the back behind the candle. I kind of changed my mind on what I was gonna do. Just like pushing these through the burlap is a little tricky. But once I get it through the burlap, they're quite easy to go through the foam. So I got 6 on this side, 6. That'll be the 12 picks. I do still have a few more. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna actually incorporate these. I still would like to, but I don't know if they're gonna, work now because I kind of changed my mind on what I was gonna do. I am still gonna use this mesh tool here, so just to put behind and on the sides, and so you can see how it will glitter, it will shine. It will kind of look like, give like the 3 sides have like glass. So I guess these are about 6 inches tall. All my tool and mesh are this height, except I have these other ones. These ones I bought last year or the year before or something from Dollarama at $2. They're not quite, like it is pretty, but it's too much. I don't want all that pattern in the back. I mean, it looks okay, but I don't want all that to be in the back. And this one's in red, so it's not the right color. So I am going to put a couple pieces of this in the back. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. Move the candle for a second. I'm going to do a quick measure to see how I'm going to measure inside here, just so I know, because I'm going to glue it just to the inside. Well, I guess I can measure the outside and then it's okay. Yeah, so it would be, I'll need about 8.5 inches, and they are 6 inches. So like that. And then I'm going to glue them on the inside. I should have done this before I did the other stuff, but sometimes you're just crafting, you're just trying to get things done, and then it's like, oops, I started gluing things and now it's going to be hard to do. So I'm going to start here. So I'm not going to worry about these little cotton flowers. I may have to move these cotton picks that are on that side of the pumpkin, just so I've got stuff here. So I'm just going to glue a piece of this in here. And then I will just glue the next piece. Now I'm just going to see how long I need each piece. Looks like I need about 10. So I don't need to, the opening is about 9 inches. So if I make them 10 inches, that will give me, to glue on this underneath in this lip part here and tuck under here. So even if I went from the full height, it's like 10.5. So I'll probably cut myself like 11-inch strips. So I'll just cut myself, I'm not quite sure how many I'll need. Probably need about 2 for each side. So I'll cut myself 6 11-inch strips. Usually if I had my other things, I I have a board that's about 11 inches wide, and I would just wrap it a few times. Actually, maybe I'll go grab the cutting board. It makes things go so much faster, and I've got the other ribbon to cut too. So I'm gonna go and grab my other measuring cutting board to make it a lot easier. I just did a quick measure. I have this other cutting board. I thought it was 111. It's closer to 12 inches, which is fine. So I'm just gonna wrap it around a few times. 3, 4, 5, and about 6. Up. And then I just cut up here, and I just cut down here, and then I've got my pieces. It's just so much faster. There. I've got my pieces to work with, so I'm going to start over in this corner. The table's not really big, so I'm just going to throw some of the stuff on the floor just so I can get around here to get to the glue gun. Just going to start gluing this up underneath in here. Just put a strip of glue, and then the little tool up here. Kind of that wasn't so good. I'm trying to glue this in this corner here. I'm just going to separate kind of where this corner would be. Some can go both ways. Same with this one. Just kind of cut kind of where the corner is. Go down on both sides like that. One more piece to glue in. I cut 6 pieces. It looks like I only needed 5. That's okay. I'd rather have an extra piece. Or maybe I got 2 extra pieces. Okay. Looks like I only needed 4 pieces. Oh well, I'd rather have a little bit more cut than not have enough pieces cut. Oops. That one didn't stick. So I'm just gonna re-glue because I mean you can kind of see what I've worked doing. Then from the back you just kind of get this. So I'm just going to glue this in a little bit better and then bring it down and tuck it in under here. So I will be back when I get the mesh all kind of tucked in and glued in a little bit better. I've tried several times this mesh tool, wherever it went. I don't know, I just dropped it. It's so thin and flimsy and it just was not lining up right. And you could see where the pieces were overlapping and there was gaps in it not looking right. So I think I am going to actually use this leaf fabric here. I think I have enough on this roll to do. So I'm going to. It's going to be glued on the inside. Around this way. I think I'm going to like this. So it's one solid piece, easier to glue. Instead of trying to put all these little 5 or 6 pieces of flimsy mesh together, this is one solid piece. I'm just trying to make sure I get my leaves going the way I want them to go. The leaf pattern's on a diagonal. Okay, just gotta make sure I get this lined up in here. And this might just be, you know, a lot easier to work with one sheet, and it's a little bit thicker. Put a little glue there. Push this into the corner. There. Yeah, this is going to be so much nicer. It's going to look so much better. Sometimes when you're crafting, you have ideas of what you'd like to use, and sometimes the materials just will not work. Oops. All this stuff is falling off. I had to take some of those picks off, and now some of my other things that I glued on are coming unglued. I'm just playing around with this, but I said that's one thing with crafting is sometimes you get an idea, you know what you're trying to do, but sometimes the materials you want to work with just do not want to work with that particular craft. Like I use that tool all the time for making my wreaths. I've never thought about, you know, when it's usually in my crafting, it's for, they'll be bunched up, not trying to lay it flat. So just gonna, that's why I said I love crafting, because it's one of those things that, like, you get to change your mind halfway through, and it's, your project's not ruined, you just get something different than what you expected, or sometimes the results are even better than you expected because you changed your mind partway through. Glue in that corner. Of course, because this stuff is thicker, the glue is seeping through, but not as much. Still quite a bit. I just got hot glue under my fingernail. I'll be right back because that really hurts. Getting glue on your fingers is one thing, but when it goes under the nail and then you've glued your fingernail to your skin, it's a little more painful. Okay. Nice little spot to glue. I'm just taking off some of this old glue from the other stuff. I do have too much here. I will trim this excess stuff off in just a minute. I just thought I'd like to keep it on as it's one long piece, just to make it easy to glue. Okay. I put my scissors, oh, they're on the floor. Okay. Trim. I'm not going to trim that, because if I start trimming, I'm going to cut something too small, and I think I just did. So I'm just going to leave that for a second. I'm just going to pull this down. I'm just going to pull this into the corners here. Pull this up. Don't want to cut all this off perfect yet, so I'm just going to tuck it in under here. Push this foam down. And then I can just tuck, get this all going the right direction. Now this is going, it's flipped on me. I'm going to have to fix that. And the same with this side, I've got it now flipping on the wrong way. But I do like the way that looks. And then put the candle inside, and then from all the sides of the back, it looks silver, but from in here it's the gold or copper inside. So I'm just gonna play around and get this mesh a little bit straighter. I'm gonna glue it in on the inside on the open part so it won't come off, and I'm not going to trim it because I'm just going to have it all tucked in underneath the foam anyways, just so when I'm done with this I have still a nice big piece of this fabric that I can use for next year. So I'll be back as soon as I get this fabric kind of more glued into place and it's more straight. Okay, I've got that all fixed and glued into place. Now I'm going to start with the candle, because if I start adding stuff here, I'm not going to be able to get the candle in. So I'm just going to set this aside, and now I'm just going to work on the candle, which I cut out a few strips of different things because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. So here's my candle. I have a few odd pieces of this burlap, which it was just this one piece. It almost fits around, I've got this one little bit of a gap here, but it's just not, it was too thick, so I cut it in half. So I'm gonna put these on. I'm gonna do just trying to figure out. I had this kind of figured out how I was going to do this. See this piece? It just doesn't quite line up. It's the only little piece I have, but I'm going to work with it just because it will give me some extra bulk in the back here. And then I figured when I have my other ribbon here, it will help hide that little gap. So I'm gonna have my gap just kind of to the side of where this little church is, so just to here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on my burlap ribbon. And just put it on. There. Just pull this across nice and even, and just put a little bit of the glue stick. A little bit of glue on the burlap I mean, this is one of these wax candles. It looks like a real wax candle. I guess it kind of is wax, but it's a battery operated one. And I mean, I don't really want to wreck my candles, but it's a Christmas one and I'm doing a fall. So I'm just going to, I'm just pulling some of these little strips of burlap off that are just kind of bugging me. I'll get a little more of that frayed look. I'm not a big fan of that frayed country kind of a, sorry, I'm not quite sure where it cut out. It did just tell me I hit my limit, so I had to just go and change my phone. So I just have this, so it was this one big piece of burlap ribbon. It's too much to cover the little candle. I cut it in half. I will have a little gap, but I'm not worried. I'm gonna do a double layer of, or a triple layer of ribbons. I'm gonna layer some ribbons. So I got the first one glued down. Now I'm gonna do the second one. So yeah, I'm not a big, like that whole farmhouse type decor thing. It's not my type of thing, but I do like on candles or some things, a little bit of that rustic stuff I don't mind. So when I'm doing this burlap, if it wants to fray and I pull off a few pieces, I don't mind a little bit of the burlap being frayed. I kind of like it on some things. I don't really like gluing on my candles, but sometimes you just have to do a little bit of crafting. You just have to create something, and so just mostly what I'm trying to do is just have a nice front. And I mean, this could be the back. I mean, I know the church and stuff is just off to the side. So it's just trying to kind of work with what I've got without going out and buying another pillar candle. I do have pillar candles. Usually when I do my pillar candles, they're solid wax, and I actually will put on ribbons and stuff. Like I will like glue on napkins, or I will use ribbons or stickers, and I use like the straight pins or push pins to hold them on. That's the broken pair of scissors. I did find a better pair of scissors. I don't know where all my other scissors are at the moment. It's really hard crafting when most of your stuff is packed. But there it goes. Now my candle is wrapped in that chunk of burlap. And then I had this other piece of this ribbon burlap, and again, it would actually wrap around here twice, but I like the thickness of it. So, and I actually have figured out that this one here, I think I can, when I wrap it, it will cover up this gap. So I'm gonna start it just off a little bit to the side here. I think it's gonna cover most of this burlap as well. Just trying to see if I can get some of that at the back, because this burlap, different ribs are just kind of cut funny, but I do want, so this will be the front where you can actually see the other burlap, and then this ribbon, and then I'm gonna put a piece of this other lacy ribbon on. So I'm just going to trim some of this excess frizzy stuff if I can. I'm just gonna start this just a little bit to the side here. I'm not gluing directly on my candle, just kind of gluing a little bit on the candle, but mostly I just wanted the glue to be on the ribbons itself. And this will just fit here. That, so that would be the back, and then there's the front, and then you can't even tell. I mean, it's kind of, the candle looks like it was warped or maybe melted, but that's okay. And then I'll put this other piece on. Just trying to figure out where. Okay, I guess it wants to go there because the hot glue is seeping through the burlap. So I guess it will just start there. And this will go around. And again, it just fits barely. You know, I don't really have a lot of excess room because usually when I'm gluing ribbons, I like to fold a little bit of the ribbon over so you get a nice finished edge. I have no room to work with. The two pieces just barely touch. Trim off these extra pieces of frayed stuff that I can't pull off because the rest of it's already glued in place. But I also just didn't feel like going out and trying to find a pillar candle, or at this moment I have pillar candles. So sometimes it's, you want to get crafting done, you want to do some stuff, just use what you have around. It may not be exactly what you want, but you know, the overall thing, it will look nice. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want this ribbon to go. So I kind of want it in the center, but because of the way I've got these two pieces here lined up, I only have this small gap here. So I think I'm going to, just because I like this little finished edge and I got a little finished edge, I'm just going to put this ribbon just a little bit lower. So then I will have these different layers of finished edges. Just going to put a little bit of glue down the center of this ribbon. I'm just going to lay it right where I want it and just go straight around to the back. And straight around to the back. Oops. A little crooked on me. This is the ribbon where I did cut a little longer because I knew that I had a lot of this white ribbon. To there. It just does not want to line up. What I like is this ribbon's got these little flowers, so to line the two up, I'm just gluing one flower on top of the other flower at the back. Get rid of some little glue strings, little clumps of glue that are sticking out between the flowers. I'm just going to cut, I've got these couple little flowers just here. I'm just going to cut off some of this extra little bit of ribbon. I'm just going to glue this right. Just glue just right below it, and I'll just give this extra little bit of something. You may not even notice, but I mean, it's just, I have three little tiny flowers. So I'm like, well, I'm one of those people who when I'm crafting and if I have a little bit of my material left over, I'm like, can I get this little piece to fit in here or else I'll have to throw it out, and it's sometimes such a waste. So there, I just stuck a little extra little detail right there. So now I'm just going to grab my lantern and put the candle in. Candle is in the lantern. Like I said, you can't even really see that extra little detail, but it's just one of those things. You know, it adds something, people may or may not even notice it. But it just kind of uses up those extra little pieces. Otherwise, it will just be getting thrown out. I still kind of like the idea of incorporating some of these little things in here, but I don't think I'm going to. Because I don't even know if I'm even going to get to this ribbon for a bow up here. I have so much detail in this little space here. I may not even add the bow. So now I'm just going to go back and put my little picks back in here. A couple of these are hard to use because they had little bundles of 6 and they were using one of the little flowers to wrap around the stems of the other ones, and so the stem is all just kind of bent. It's hard to get it straightened. I'm just going to stick these back where I had them if I can. And these little berry picks, I said I had just glued them on and some of them just kind of came undone. I know this one came from here. When I was doing the mesh, I know it kind of came off, but I'm just going to glue it back on. I do have more of these little berry picks somewhere. I just not sure where they are right this second, so I will look for them. Ones that came off. I'll put this one here. Just push that. And I have these little bundles of my eucalyptus, and I actually snapped them down to make them a little smaller. And then I took some of the larger stems and I even snapped them to make them little sticks. So I'm going to stick the little sticks in there too. But I'm just going to stick these little eucalyptus leaves, just poke them through here, and either a little bit too long still, I'm just going to break off and just kind of stick them in and out wherever I think they will fit. Of course, while I'm doing this, the eucalyptus leaves or stems are snapping, which means I'm now smelling the eucalyptus. So now my craft room is going to smell really good today. Because that mesh is there, I kind of don't really need to poke the eucalyptus really right through. I can just kind of lean it up against the side of the mesh, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Turn this way so I can get one in here. I don't want it laying like that. This wants to keep falling that way. Okay. these little sticks. I'm just gonna stick them in here, wherever they want to fit, just kind of fill in little areas here. I do like, for fall, these little bundles of sticks tuck in with my acorns and pine cones. Oops. Snap some of these a little smaller and I'll just slip them in. The leaves of the little leaf type things, stems, whatever they are, the little floral things of the pine cones can kind of hold those sticks into place. One last stick. I'm gonna snap this one and put a little bit here. And I'll just stick another one just up here. And I think I've used everything. Like I said, I like the way it looks. I'm not gonna bother with a ribbon. Oops. Pull the candle out and turn the candle on. And I will just turn the lights down a little bit lower here. My lamp would not turn off. Okay, there, I like this soft little glow. There. So now I'm gonna go and put this out on my front step beside the gnomes, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Okay, so there's the little lantern sitting here on this little wooden bench I have. So there's my little bee gnome and my little ladybug gnome. So they just look so cute for fall. I will be doing my wreath in a next day or two, and I'd like to get my big wreath back on my front door. You know, our door was just painted, so I'm gonna have to do something a little bit different, but anyway, so there is my lantern. I did scrape some of the paint off, you know, sliding it across the table, but that's okay. I'll just put a little black touch-up paint on there later today.